If you have a dream, a vision, something big you want to accomplish, you need other people around you to help you bring it to life. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you said over and over and over.
Yeah, you're right. It's simple advice, but it's true. And it's not the first time. And, you know, I learned also from you keep reminding people on your podcast and stuff, and that is important. And that's true.
To people listening or watching out there, like, don't necessarily fall in love with a laundromat just because it's close to you. If you notice, he looked at a lot of laundromats and then happened to find one that was close to him. It wasn't because it was close to him, it was because it hit his criteria. And being a couple minutes down the road is awesome, but don't fall in love just because it's close. I just wanted to say that. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast, and I'm pumped you're here today because today we have got episode 220 with my friend, my boy, JR, Roch, Dumas. I probably butchered it. Sorry, JR. That's why he tells me to call him JR, because he's French and my accents are the worst. But anyways, super excited for you to hear this episode. JR had a vision of what he wanted to create. And this episode is the story of how he took this vision that he had and he brought it to life and turned it into Laundry and Lattes, which has been in the news episodes a couple different times. And listen, this is a very cool story with tons of practical stuff that JR has learned along the way. He's a client of mine. We went through this whole process together. So it's really cool to just kind of see from beginning all the way to end. You get to hear that story today and all the lessons that he learned all along the way. And not only that, he's also doubled his self-serve business in like 3 months. So he's going to talk about how he did that as well. So tons of really good stuff here. Cannot wait for you to hear. Real quick before we jump into it with JR, just want to invite you another time to come hang out with me in Hawaii at Laundromat Accelerator Hawaii, where we're going to dig into your businesses. If you want to get in a room with other people who are thinking on high levels about laundromats, listen, this is the place you gotta be. You gotta come to Laundromat Accelerator Hawaii. It's tax write-offable. I'm gonna be there sharing tons of practical stuff that I have learned over my 12 plus years in the industry, my 1,500 plus consulting calls, the deals I've brokered, and on and on and on about what I've learned. But I'm also bringing along some friends. Ryan Borneman of Fresh Leads Marketing is going to be there. We're going to dig into your business and give you marketing tips specific to your business. No pitches, no sales, nothing like that. We're just going to help you with your business when it comes to marketing. This last week's episode with Amanda Barkey, who is an EOS implementer. And if you don't know anything about EOS, number one, listen to that episode. It is incredible. But number two, you should do a little research on EOS because there are things that you should be doing in your business to level up your operations. And Amanda is going to be there to break it down for us, show us how to implement EOS into our businesses. Incredible stuff. And there's a whole lot more going on. Plus, we're going to be in Hawaii. I mean, come on. We're going to be doing some Hawaii things, including we're heading over to Kualoa Ranch to Secret Island the last day to finish things up. And we're going to kick things off with a little cruise on the water to see the fireworks, Friday night fireworks on Waikiki Beach. Like, what else is there to say? And the setting for our actual event, phenomenal, with the balcony overlooking, again, Waikiki Beach. Incredible stuff. Tax write-offable the weekend before Thanksgiving, so you've got the time. You're going to be in a room full of people who are thinking on high levels about laundromats, not just the presenters, but the actual attendees also. So if that's a room you need to be in, number one, it probably is a room you need to be in. Check out laundromatresource.com/Hawaii, and we'll see you there. Let's jump into it with JR now, who is crushing it out there in New York with Laundry and Lattes. I am so excited. JR, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Super excited to be with you.
Yeah. Well, dude, for me, this is super exciting to be here because we have been in it to win it together for a while, finding you a deal in one of the toughest markets on the planet to find a laundromat deal, and then negotiating that deal and actually closing that thing was a beast. And now you're off and running here with that business. So we want to hear all about all that. But real quick, why don't you give us a little background on you, and then we can jump into how you got into this business.
Yeah, sure. So as you probably can hear, I'm French. I came to New York 13 years ago. I have a background in consulting, 20 years of management consulting, advising companies on how to grow their business. And after 20 years, I thought it was time for me to, own something and do it, replicate what I've learned. And
see, you're trying to see if all the advice you gave everybody actually worked, huh? You gotta go find it for yourself.
Exactly.
Which we'll find out that it did work for you, which we'll talk about. But okay, so management consulting for a while. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought that was funny.
20 years, and a mix of things. Probably the age, getting old and reflecting on the past, and I had a great run at Deloitte, the firm I was working for, and but it was time for me to really get into something on my own, something that I like, something tangible with community involved. My girlfriend actually recommended me to look into laundromats, and that's how I started to get into the industry.
Why did she think you should do a laundromat? Like, where did that idea come from for her? Well, because I'm coming from a place where my wife was the one who suggested it too. So I'm wondering how she talked you into it.
I guess she knows me. And she knew that I needed something where there is customer interaction, where there is community involved, where there is a way for me to apply what I've learned during my 20 years in consulting, bringing in technology and these kind of things. So an industry that has been left behind, and something also that at one point makes money. Let's be honest.
Yes,
that's the goal. Let's not hide it. So she, of course, knows me well, and she thought, well, Laundromat ticks a lot of boxes, and she listened to a lot of, economics podcasts and stuff. So she knew it was something hot, and she said, no, it's not only hot financially, but I think it's something that can correspond to what you're looking for. And that's how it started.
And you believed her. Oh, man.
Of course, I have to believe her every day.
That's right. Wise man. She'll probably hear this. Okay. So she came up with this idea. What then? I mean, did you just off and run, or were you like, do I need to look into this myself here? And what did you do once this idea came up?
She told me about it, but, I started to ask her, why. And, I was lucky enough all my life to have a washer dryer in my unit. So laundromat for me was not something that I even know, before. So I asked her a few things, and she said, well, why don't you look for yourself? So I basically started I was interested by the idea, and I started to bring my clothes to the different laundromats in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, to see what exactly it is to do your laundry. And in the meantime, I was also listening to a lot of podcasts, including yourself, but many others, to kind of get up to speed on the industry. And quickly, I realized, well, that's something that I may like. That's something where I can make a difference. Especially here in Brooklyn, where I live, I visited probably between 50 and 100 laundromats in like 1 month. And something was clear. It was dirty. It was, only coin operated. It was, everything was kind of, all the places I visited were not great. And quickly I realized, well, what if you build a place that is actually something great, that where actually people can enjoy that time doing laundry, bring a little bit of technology. So I quickly saw the opportunity to make a difference.
Well, it's funny because I love quotes, and I was writing down your quote, like, what if I built a place that people actually enjoy coming to do laundry? Like, what a novel idea, right? Because a lot of people don't like doing laundry, right? It's a chore for sure. So I love that sort of premise, and I can't wait to get into what that turned out to look like for you, because I think that it's very unique. And in fact, you've been in multiple times, you've been in news episodes that I do because you've been in the news. So I'd like to talk about that too. But I love that premise. But it's interesting to me, right? There's two different eyes you can have. You can have, hey, I see all these laundromats, they're dirty, they're not organized well, they're not run well, they're coin only, they're inconvenient, it's not a pleasant experience. And you can see with one set of eyes, you can say, I would never get into that business. Look at how this industry operates, which frankly is fair and also true, right? Or you can have another set of eyes, which is what, like, a theme that comes up over and over and over of people who are actually making a difference and building good businesses in this industry, is this second set of eyes where you can say, man, look at these businesses. They're dirty, they're coin operated, inconvenient. This experience could be so much better. And that's a huge opportunity for me, not just to do something good in the community, which is good too, but also to make money doing it, right?
Exactly.
That's a thing that comes up a lot.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. You can you can have the two different approaches. Yeah. Well, that's so bad. I don't want to get into it. And then I think that's also what, my 20 years of consulting taught me is, well, yeah, the other eyes is there is an opportunity. And what I also like when I did what I call my laundromat tour in Brooklyn is the diversity of people coming into this laundromat. Every time I had different, people from different backgrounds, and I quickly saw that it's really rich in terms of people interaction. That's also something that I really liked quickly, and if you can turn these places in something great, not only you can make money, but also truly, help the entire community to have a good time, and that was really something that was appealing to me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, it sounds like it was one of the things that your girlfriend identified in you and in what you were looking for. And you found a way to kind of match that kind of drive that you had to make a difference, to have that community connection with a pretty dang good business opportunity as well there in laundromats.
And something before getting into the industry that was really important to me, in addition to the community aspect, etc., was also something I needed to have something and to own something that I like. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't like washing clothes. So that's how Laundry and Latte came to life. I love coffee. I thought about coffee shop before, but for quick economic analysis, it didn't make sense for me to open a coffee shop. But I thought about why not mixing both things, something that I really like, coffee, with something where I see an opportunity for growth. And then you tick all the boxes that you want. And that's how Laundry and Latte came to life.
Yeah. So was that the goal from, okay, so your girlfriend brought it up, right? This idea, and then you did a little research and you're like, okay, yeah, this might be a good fit. Was the Laundry and Latte idea, was that there from the beginning, or is that something that developed?
The laundry idea was a girlfriend. And the latte was myself. So, but it came really quickly. It came because I was going to these places, meeting these people, feeling so bad in these places. Saw the opportunity, and at the same time, I said, if I do only laundry, I'm going to be bored. And every time I was sitting down in these places, dirty places, I always wanted a coffee because I love coffee. So I was going to the next coffee shop, having my coffee, going back, and putting the stuff, the clothes to dry. And then quickly I realized, well, let's mix both. So Laundry and Latte came really, really fast after, the first thought of my girlfriend asking me to look in Laundromat, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you, and I know we'll kind of get a little more into this, but did you go out looking for an existing laundromat, cafe, coffee shop, or was this something like where it was your idea to build this out?
Yeah, I didn't even look if it already existed. I didn't care, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was, to me, it's going to be it.
That's your love for coffee overcame it all.
Yeah, that's going to be Laundry and Latte. And I have to admit something also. I never look about, maybe I should have, I never looked at the coffee financials. Never. To me, it was more like, I don't know, something, again, that I like. And it was not negotiable. It's going to be Laundry and Latte, and it's going to be a coffee shop, and a proper coffee shop with proper coffee. That's it. People don't like it, they don't like it. That was the coffee financials. Never looked at it.
Yeah, well, I bet you looked at them since you've opened. but I mean, that's the makings of a strong brand, though, right? Is like one thing that a brand, like a strong brand, which I think you have for various reasons. But one thing that a strong brand does is it attracts the people that, align with that brand, right? People who are like, yeah, I got to do laundry. I want to do it at a place where it's pleasant to do laundry and I can get my coffee. Like, you're going to attract those people. And anybody, for whatever reason, I don't know, they hate the smell of coffee or whatever. Like, you don't want those. That's not your target customer, right? It's not that you don't want them, they're not welcome, but they're not your target customer, right? And having a strong brand is has this like magnetic effect on the people that share your values, that share the things that are important to you. And listen, like you're a coffee lover, right? Like it's going to attract the right people to your store by having that strong brand.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely see now that some people, don't get into it, don't want, some people just want the laundromat traditional way. But I have to tell you something. It's probably 2%, 2% of the customer base. 98% love the concept, love the space, love the ability to just sit, relax, listen to music, have a pastry and a coffee, which was exactly what I wanted. So of course you're always gonna have people like it, and that's okay. That's okay. It's
totally. It's a good thing, right? It's not just okay. Like it's a good thing. If everybody likes what you're doing, then you're probably not doing anything meaningful, right? Like that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, so you did your laundromat tour. You went and checked out like 50 to 100 laundromats. Like when you were like, okay, it's go time. And maybe did your tour after you said it's go time. What was your first step or your next step, to get going, to finding this deal?
After these 50 more 100 probably visits, after listening to podcasts, including yours, not only yours, but including yours.
Yeah, but mine most helpful, obviously.
Yours was helpful.
Okay. All right, fine. Somebody has a better one. I'll up my game.
There's no better one, but yours was the first. So I guess.
Okay. I'll take that. If I can't be the best, at least I can be the first.
Listening to podcasts is great, but if you don't take action, nothing happens. So what I did after my little laundromat visits and my podcast listening, I reached out to different people. Some of them were on your podcast, to learn more about the industry, to learn the different financial aspects and stuff. And then quickly I said, okay, that's going to be it. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to look for a place. And I list a number of requirements because, of course, I knew it was going to be Laundry and Latte. So you need space to do the latte, to do the coffee shop. You need a lot of things. You need to be in the right neighborhood. You need to be careful about where you're getting into, because not every neighborhood are gonna welcome laundry and coffee, are gonna be able to afford the coffee. So there were a number of things that I needed to put on paper to say, okay, what I am looking for before I'm looking into different places. And then once I've done that, I guess I did what everybody is doing and look online, laundromats for sale. Quickly, I realized that it was probably not the best way to get what I wanted, especially because my requirements were so kind of,
Specific.
Specific.
Yeah.
So I just went back and said, okay, well, let's first select a place that you think will work. And then let's see if the people are willing to sell. That's what I did. Because I had visited so many places, I could identify the places that I thought would be a great fit. What I did. And then I did what was recommended on one of your podcasts, which was send letters to the owners, which I did. I had limited success, and I did the last option I had, which you recommended me to do. Go talk to people in person. And funny enough, the first laundromat I went to is located 2 blocks from where I live. Had a new space at the front where they were putting bags, not really organized properly. And I saw quickly the opportunity for the coffee, talk to the owner, and it wasn't for sale. That's probably the best deal. If it's not for sale and if you manage to buy it, that's probably the best deal. And I built a relationship over a couple of months, and we managed to find an agreement.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I was so curious about how you found it, not curious because I didn't know, but curious for the people listening, is because, I mean, like I said, you're in one of the most difficult markets on the planet to find these deals. Like laundromats are, like your girlfriend said, like they're hot right now, and a lot of people are looking to buy them, and not that many people are selling them, relatively speaking, right now. So finding those deals is tough. And I wanted to kind of give people a sense of like, what does it take in today's market to actually go find a deal? And you did a lot of work to find those deals.
There is no magic recipe. It's and it's a lot of things. First of all, it needs to be, from my perspective, I literally spend, I guess, 3 months only on that, only on trying to find the right places. And there is no one way to do it. It's a mix, as always. Thing that works, it's a mix of things. Send letters, which now start to be almost known in the laundromat community, because even brokers now are sending letters and stuff. But that's a first thing that you need to do. Going talk in person to the different owner. Of course, a lot of people don't do it. If you really want to get into the industry, you need to you need to take time and talk to people. If you don't do that, never going to work. That's my perspective. And the last thing is probably talking also to making sure you're involved in the community, what I call the laundromat community, laundromat owners. If you're not included in this laundromat community, same. You're not going to be aware of the last, deals available. So there is no magic recipe. And I will ask the last thing that my father taught me: luck. You always need luck.
That's right. Always need a little bit of luck. Throw it in there whenever you can. But you did, I mean, you sort of made your own luck here, right? Because you did, like I said, you did a lot of the work. You talked to a lot of brokers. You sent out letters. You went and talked to owners. You got involved in the laundromat community. The first time we met in person, because we had been talking every week, trying to help you figure out how to find one of these suckers. But we met in person at Waleed's Laundry CEO Forum. I think that was the first time we met, right? In person.
In person. Yeah, that's we met in person. That's right.
And that was before you owned the laundromat, right? Yeah.
It was. This event that you're referring to, that Waleed organized the Laundry CEO Forum, was for me definitely amazing. That's not only because I met you in person, which was of course amazing.
Thank you. Yes, likewise.
But also because I met so many different people, from distributor to investors, people who are financing the industry, and some owners with who I'm still I became friend with. One of them owns a laundromat also in Brooklyn, and there is no. What I love in this industry is that there is no real competition. Of course, there is, but it's healthy competition. People help each other. One of the owners that I met at Waleed conference helped me, pick up and deliver some stuff for commercial clients right now. So I couldn't recommend enough to get involved in the community, participate to this conference. That's my own experience. I've heard about that. It's a little investment, but the return is huge. You cannot even, it would be simple for me if I didn't attend, for example, Instant Funding Workshop, the Laundry CEO Forum. I wouldn't be able to have my Laundromat right now. Simple as that.
Well, that's a pretty ringing endorsement for those events. So make sure you're getting involved, people. That's the moral of this part of the story: is get involved in the community, go to the events if you can. If you can't do them in person, do them online, get connected with other owners, reach out to people in the industry, and get connected. I think that's such great advice. I guess it's so underrated.
It's simple advice, but it's true, and it's not the first time. And I learned also from you. Keep reminding people on your different podcasts and stuff, and that is important, and that's true. And maybe, I come from, of course, the management consulting world, and that's something we do every day. We participate to events and stuff. Why? Because we learn from it. And so I think the laundromat world, again, was a bit behind. And with, people like you and Waleed and a bunch of others, of course, kind of help to bring back this industry to just where it should be. That's simple as that.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. So you went and did all this work to find this laundromat deal. And I want to throw in real quick, just because this worked out for you. And it was after a whole lot of other stuff that this ended up working out for you. But to people listening or watching out there, like, don't necessarily fall in love with a laundromat just because it's close to you. If you notice, he looked at a lot of laundromats and then happened to find one that was close to him. It wasn't because it was close to him. It was because it hit his criteria. And being a couple minutes down the road is awesome, but don't fall in love just because it's close. I just wanted to say that. It's a caveat.
Yeah, and on that was definitely the luck piece I was mentioning, because absolutely. I would say, though, that having a laundromat, especially your first, at least, a reasonable time between, whatever it is, walk, car. When I say reasonable, it could be 31 hours. But if you go beyond that,
too far, yeah.
it starts to be too far, because the reality is you're going to need to go back and forth your home and stuff. And so yeah, on this one, I was so lucky. That's the only reason. But as you said, it was meeting all the criteria and a little bit of luck.
Yeah. A little bit of luck, a little bit of you making the luck, and a little bit of there's just a laundromat on every corner in New York. So, you're bound to get one kind of close, hopefully. Okay. So you found this deal. Can you tell us, just a little bit about like, what was the transaction like, actually like making the offer, getting that accepted, and then closing on that deal?
So I guess that's where I started to also walk with you, where I was a bit lost in terms of how things work in this industry to get the transaction done. It's so in my experience, it was super old school. Maybe again, it's my first transaction, but I don't think, again, there is a playbook. Sometimes it depends on so many factors. Most of the time, you don't have a lot of data, which is true, especially the coin only operated laundromat, and so you have a bunch of way to evaluate the value of the laundromat, but of course it's kind of it's not perfect. But then you need to get back also to, from my perspective, what's your, I guess, where you want to go, and what's your goal, and look at what's the actual estimated revenue of the current laundromat, but you're going to do better, and I would, it's really difficult to evaluate and the value of laundromat today, because you're balanced between, okay, well, some people tell you shouldn't evaluate it based on what
the potential,
what you think it's going to be, but at the same time, if you only look at what it does today, especially a running down laundromat or zombie mat, as Brian Grell men call them, and I think it's you need to be careful about it's a bit, the reality is a little bit in the middle from my perspective. You can't pay X because it's almost doing nothing, but you cannot pay Y because you think it's going to do big money. It's a middle.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, I mean, I think you nailed it. Like, right. You have to be clear on what your goals are and make sure your acquisition lines up with your goals. So for you, in your particular case, number one, the laundromat was underperforming, and we'll see. I want to ask you about, I mean, you seem pretty confident going into it, that you were going to be able to do better in the business. So I want to hear about why, but in your case, right, your goal was you needed a specific kind of space to do a specific business plan, to bring to life a specific idea that you had. And there's, it was underperforming. Like, we knew that. And so you had to find out, okay, how can I structure this deal to where it makes sense for me so that I can achieve my goals, and in a way that makes sense for the seller so that I can actually get the location to do it. And that's what we did. That's a little bit of that compromise that you were talking about there.
No, exactly. And the problem I ran into, especially for a laundromat that was not for sale, is to evaluate, at least make the first offer. You hear a lot that if you buy, you shouldn't make the first offer. Guess what? I made the first offer. Not because I wanted to, because I had to. And the previous owner just asked me to give him a number. I could have said, no, I don't give you any.
Then
he wanted.
You'd still own the laundromat. Yeah. So, you wouldn't have it right now. Yeah.
And I remember we had some conversation, and again, it's so, especially not like huge laundromat. We're talking about, 17 washer, 18 dryer. So it's, 1,000 square feet. It's not like huge. But again, it's not easy to kind of, you can, of course, look at the key things, the lease, age of the machine, all that stuff. But in the end, you have probably a couple of 100,000 of room to, it's not that simple. So what I did is I evaluated the best, consulted with, a lot of people, yourself, one of my friend now, Jason Wall, that you may know.
I know Jason. Yeah.
Who also helped me to evaluate it. And I made an offer that didn't meet the requirements. The owner asked for a lot more, and in the end, we met in the middle, which was a kind of a smooth agreement for the actual target price. What started to be a really, really painful process was the actual due diligence / letter of intent. Because again, old school owner, having the laundromat 30 years, doesn't know about letter of intent or due diligence, doesn't want to know about it. And you just need to go with it, because if you start to get lawyers involved and stuff, that's the best way to fuck up.
Kill that deal. Yeah.
So, you need to take risk, consult a lot of people, get input from a lot of people, and get confident in what you're buying. That's, in the end, that's the thing, you need to get confident in the price you're willing to pay. That's it.
Yeah. And there's always like, the way that I like to look at it is there's like two numbers, right? The price is one thing. There's two numbers that you want to look at, I think, when you're doing a deal like this that we kind of went through a little bit is your return on investment, both your real return on investment that you would get if things perform the same now, but also where you think you're going to be, your projections of where you're going to be based on how you're going to run the business different, that return on investment. And then also there's like a threshold in there of like, hey, I could give you like a 100% return on your investment, but you're going to make $1,000 a year, and it's like, well, 100% return on investment sounds great, but it's not worth it to me to run a business for $1,000 a year. Right. So you got to have those two numbers. And as long as you can hit them, like you can pay any price for a bit. There's no right or wrong when it comes to pricing. You just got to hit your goal, your criteria that you're looking for.
Exactly. I love what you said. There is not right or wrong. I'm hearing a lot of, multiples and stuff. In my experience, I'm not sticking to this. Of course, don't get me wrong. Everything is, you need to get, your numbers right and know the multiple and stuff. But that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the story for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we got this transaction done by some miracle. There was a lot of back and forth going on here. This guy was an old school guy, so there was some haggling.
No letter of intent. Just the price agreed. And then, a lot of, exchange for like 2 or 3 months around, electricity bills and gas and water and lease and stuff. I got pretty much everything I wanted to kind of
eventually.
Eventually. But again, with nothing actually signed on paper, so you're always like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? So it's stressful.
Yeah, we were like filling around in the dark pretty much for a little while there. I mean, obviously like you especially, where we were trying to get creative on trying to verify things without really having much information. But I mean, we ultimately got there, and you felt good about it. I felt pretty good about it. The owner eventually sold. So that was that. Can you tell us a little bit about, I've got kind of 2 more things I want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about, 3 more things. I'll talk a little bit about the process of bringing your vision to life. Like you had this vision of Laundry and Lattes. So can you talk about a little bit about bringing that vision to life? And then I want to talk about growing your business. If you've been able to grow it, and if so, how have you been able to grow it, and what does that look like? So let's talk about like bringing it to life. Like you had this idea, Laundries and Latte. It didn't exist before. It was a laundromat before, but not a laundry and latte. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah. So I took over in November last year, and the first intention was to run it as is for 3 months and, see how it goes. And end of November, I buy the place. Literally 15 days after, I was ready to shake up and change it and bring it to life. I didn't want to wait 3 months because I felt confident in the operations and I thought it was time. So I decided quickly to bring it to what I wanted to. And the way I did it is it's always like that, I guess. I have a good friend of mine who is a French architect in New York. He does a bunch of different places. One of them he did was an old laundromat that in turn it turned into a restaurant. I don't know if I told you about that, by the way, but anyway,
No.
is also focused on bigger projects usually, but because he did this laundromat into a restaurant, and funny enough, from the outside, it looks the two laundromats look the same. Which anyway, I think that my friend thought, okay, well, it's a small project, they can do it, and in December we started to design everything, and we get along really well, and I think we have the same vision, and he helped me a lot. I'm so bad at design and stuff. I just had this idea. I want laundry and latte. I want the coffee here. I want the laundry operation.
Somebody make it pretty. Make it pretty for me.
Then make it nice. That was but I trust the guy, and he actually in a record time just designed the thing and made it exactly how I in my dream envision it. Like designed the place. January 1st, we started the renovation, kept the place open. It was a nightmare, but I'm glad we did it. Financially, it was super helpful. It was a nightmare because, you probably know how it is when you renovate the place. So we had to close certain days. And of course, people were not happy, but we kept the operation going somehow. And in not even 3 months, end of March, we reopened a fully renovated space. And yeah, that was the thing. But having someone I knew that I trusted, who also was interested by the idea, was instrumental to get it done on time, and of course in a reasonable amount of funding for the renovation.
Yeah, what's interesting is one thing that I've been learning lately. I mean, this probably seems obvious to some people listening, but it wasn't to me. But it's being like, your story is like punctuating this. And it's a lesson that I've been learning lately is if you have a dream, a vision, something big you want to accomplish, you need other people around you to help you bring it to life. You know what I mean? Like that's what you said over and over and over.
Yeah, you're right. I mentioned girlfriend.
Yeah.
Laundromat owners, yourself, Waleed, so many.
Yeah.
You need to have this help. If you're alone, forget about it. Because there are so many things you need to do that you can't do it yourself alone.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like I said, probably most people are like, yeah, duh. But for me, like genuinely, like it's kind of a relatively new idea for me where I'm starting to see like 1 + 1 does not equal 2, right? 1 + 1 = 10. When you're working with the right people, you have the right people on your team, in your corner. Like, and you mentioned like the architect, I think is a really great example because you're like, it was something that he was interested in. He had the capabilities. He had the vision for it. And I think that like he was interested in it is like a key component, right? Like it was intriguing to him. It was exciting to him. And having that in your corner is huge.
I learned that, and that's something that I'm also watching now for my staff. I want people who are buying into the idea, the concept, the space. That's so important. So important. It's a game changer.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to that strong brand too, right? Like you're doing something unique. That's probably like what part of what intrigued him about it is you're doing something unique. He's like, yeah, okay, this is like not a big project. I can tackle it, but it's also kind of intriguing to help be a part of building this thing, which is pretty cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, obviously like everything in that bringing your dream to life went super smoothly and was very easy to do. No obstacles, right? I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously that's not the case, but in his particular case, he had some like pretty good obstacles along the way that you just kind of stuck through. Yeah. And you just stuck through and made it happen, which is cool. And like, that's the thing too, where, one thing I learned a while back was like, frustration and discouragement comes when your expectations don't meet reality. And, if you expect there to be no problems and things to go easy and smooth, I know there's like, it's so clickbaity, especially in our industry right now, the passive income, the easy, the boring business, this and that is like so clickbaity, trendy right now because it's easy to sell that idea. But the reality of it is that there is nothing easy and you need to expect things to go wrong. And one thing that you did, and this is what we do as entrepreneurs, right, is we bet on ourselves to be able to solve problems, right? And to be able to get the right people around us to help us solve the problem. And that's what you did. And you crushed it.
Yeah, I don't know if I crushed it, but absolutely. And you never know what it's going to, challenges are going to come up. But never where in previous conversation with you always told me something is going to happen. And okay, well, guess what? On the laundry side, everything went well. But then on the coffee side, that's when things went wrong. So because of the health department and stuff. But as you said, you always need to be ready for the unexpected. And yeah, they're going to be always problems, always extra money to spend, always things that can put you down. And if you don't have these people around you, whatever it is, whoever it is, and I think it's a mix of things. It's family, friends, and people in the industry. If you don't have that, that's where things go wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so two final things that I want to ask you about. Number one is
you said 3, and then no, we already.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'm not that good at counting. All right, leave me alone. All right, I got 2 more that I can think of. I might come up with more. I don't know. Maybe it's like 100. Let's talk about growing your business. How's it been since, March, you got everything kind of up and running and all that? How's it been since, we're in September right now as we're recording this. How has business been? Have you been able to grow it?
Yeah, it has been amazing. Not easy, of course, in terms of involvement and in you need to be, of course, close if you believe that you're gonna run the thing from the outside and let it go. No, that's of course not how it works. Nothing works like that. And from a self-service point of view, it's we're crushing it. I think the fact from changing coin to laundry cards and these Laundroworks was probably the best move I have done. It's it definitely changed the the business. I mean, in 3 months we doubled the self-service. So definitely that was a big change in I love not having to deal with coins anymore, but also we're still growing on the self-service. On the pickup and delivery and drop off, it's a separate business. We took more time to kind of get it right, because you have so many things to consider: the driver aspect, the staff aspect. But we're starting to kind of same. We're now in September. We probably double. Important thing is to get the right balance between commercial clients and residential. That's something we're working on. Commercial are great, but you need to always get it right in terms of balance. We also do dry cleaning. That's booming right now. And then the last piece is a coffee. Coffee never, as I mentioned earlier, was never part of the equation in terms of financials. As you said, now I'm looking into it a bit more. But the coffee is also a way for us to acquire a customer, to bring new customer to. So it's very difficult to say, well, coffee lose money. You can't. It's Laundry and Latte. So my staff, it's very difficult to say, well, you can't take the coffee and the laundry and just say, oh, coffee doesn't make money. It doesn't work like that. My staff at the coffee shop, I ask them, take the dry cleaning order to tag the dry cleaning, to weigh the bags and stuff. So, you know what I mean? So it's part of the one thing. And my idea behind the coffee has always been, first, bring more, better customer experience. Never to make money. I don't want to lose. Coffee is a bit slow, but I'm not worried about the coffee, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and your focus, I mean, you kind of casually just mentioned that you doubled your your self-serve business. That's not a casual thing. That's a huge deal. And I know a lot of that has to do with how you rebranded, redesigned the place, remodeled it, all that stuff. And how you're operating it now, the new culture you're putting into this place. You said it's still growing, and you can't grow all aspects of your business at the same time. But you're going to get to a point where that coffee is going to be continuing to bring you new customers and to maintain customer loyalty, but it also will be profitable. I'm confident of that.
Yeah,
as well.
I think so. And again, the self-serve is a mix of things. It's the technology, it's a new space, it's the staff that is now helping customer, it's the cleanness of the store, it's everything. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of advertising.
Yeah. Are you doing a lot of advertising?
Not a lot, but it's mainly Google ads, geofencing. That seems to work well.
Yeah. Nice. One other thing that I just want to bring up, I guess this is the last ish thing, is I mentioned this earlier, but you've been in the news multiple times now that it's popped up for me. How are you getting PR? How are you getting on the news?
That's a funny question. My parents asked me the same.
It's your looks, isn't it? You're just so handsome. They're like, Put this guy in the news.
They like a lot of people think I know a lot of people in this industry. I'm not. I mean, I didn't until now. We were featured by the New York Times. I think it was a coincidence. I mean, they reached out to me. They were doing a story on Laundromat, who are doing other things as part of their revenue. I just opened when they reached out. And this New York Times article I'm not a big, I'm not super knowledgeable about this news industry. You're probably better than me, but when someone like New York Times picks up something, then it starts to trigger a lot of things. That's how we got probably the Financial Times. That's how NBC is doing something now. That's how all the local papers. I love being in the news, but it's never was something I was, targeting specifically. I think what helps is what actually we managed to accomplish. I think that's a testament that to me, it's a confirmation that what I wanted to realize made it to the.
Yeah, you realized it. Yeah.
Yeah. That I think because of course, yeah, it's interesting. It's newsworthy to have a place that is clean where people come with different backgrounds, can enjoy finally getting their stuff done. Especially again in the New York, Brooklyn area, you don't have that kind of a lot of space where it's enjoyed. So I think it's just, piece of luck, but also right timing and good delivery on the idea of what we wanted.
Yeah, super good execution, and again, strong branding, right? Like Laundry and Lattes, you probably came up real quick when they were looking for laundry and something else because of that branding. And
a lot of, I had a lot of back and forth with people on the branding and the names. So, you always have people say, "Yeah, that's good." To me, it was good. Why? Because it's simple and clear.
Yep. Yeah.
Laundry and latte. Well, you cannot understand what you're going to get.
That's right. There's no confusion on that one. Would you guys serve lattes or just black coffee? You probably don't even serve lattes, do you?
Guess what? The best seller is a latte, of course.
Okay.
We have to sell, the new thing, matcha.
Yeah. Very trendy right now. That's awesome. Okay. Listen, this has been incredible, partially because, there's been so many just practical takeaways. Like you just shared a lot of, because you just went through it like not that long ago and, had a good team around you and we're sort of debriefing and getting stuff kind of along the way. So you have a lot of really good practical takeaway stuff, but even just hearing your story is just so enlightening, right? And kind of refreshing too. And, more and more, we're seeing more and more of like laundry's easy, laundromats are easy, getting laundromats. You can do it in, 60 days. You can do it in 30 days. You can do it in 15 days. Like I'm seeing ads for all these things, right? And I'm like, oh gosh, like it's so deceptive. So it's kind of refreshing just to hear your story about how you went out and you made it happen. Like this thing would not have ever just fallen in your lap. This vision would not have fallen. You had to go out and make it happen. And you did, and made it. You realized that dream, you realized that goal, and made it happen. So I appreciate you coming on, taking the time away from building your business and everything else you got going on, meeting with all your fancy people that you know, since you know everybody, all the big wigs over there, and hanging out with us and just sharing your story and sharing some of the things that you've learned along the way to help us improve our businesses. So I guess my last question for you is, I know. I might come up with a couple more. I don't know. My last one is, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way they can connect with you?
Just share my personal email, and I will be happy to answer, any question, connect with anybody. That's how I got into the industry. So to me, it's natural to give back. And I don't say that it's not, it's true. I mean, I learned so much, and that's the reason why I'm here today, because of people took some of their time. So to me, it's so natural to give back. So please share my email and personal email, and I welcome anybody to reach out, and I would love to share anything with anybody.
Awesome. Well, we'll put those in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, that'll be down below. And obviously, if you're in Brooklyn, you got to go get a latte or a matcha at Laundry and Latte over there, and go visit JR, doing his thing, building his business. Dude, you are a rock star. It's so inspiring to, one of the big reasons I wanted to have you on is because it's so inspiring to hear somebody who has a vision of something that they want to build, they want to bring to life, Laundry and Latte, and then hear about the process of what it took to actually bring that vision to life. And, obviously, like, the story's not over. You're still growing your business. You're relatively, relatively new into it. Things are still growing. You're building, you're learning, all that stuff. But it's just so cool to see you bring a vision to life. It's inspiring. So hopefully, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're out there and you have a dream, you have a vision, take JR up, shoot him an email, connect with him. He's the one who said you got to get connected with people in the industry. So who better to start with than JR here?
Please do. And
plus, everybody knows him anyways, and he knows everybody. So
really happy to spend some time with you. And it was very great.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. I hope you love that episode with JR. I love that guy. He is doing awesome stuff, bringing visions to life. Listen, as good as that story is, number one, reach out to him and connect with him. He likes connecting with people, so make sure you're doing that. Number two is, and maybe connecting with him is your action step, but take some action off something here. For me, I just, this narrative of him like having this vision of Laundry and Lattes and bringing it to life is like, listen, I need to probably spend a little more time building out my vision, getting clarity on what my vision of what I'm trying to build is, and then get after it, focus on it. That's my action step. What's your action step? I love to hear about it. Drop me a note, Jordan@laundromatresource.com. Tell me what you're up to based off of this episode from JR. Huge shout out and thanks to him, by the way. We will see you next week on the episode, on our next episode, which again is another incredible interview. And some of you guys will see you in Hawaii here pretty soon. So laundromatresource.com/Hawaii. Peace.